All right, welcome back. Welcome, replay viewers. Sorry for those of you who caught the first broadcast. I'm getting another error. Hopefully this is working. But the internet was acting a little wonky, so I thought I'd try again. All right, here we are. Hi! It's so nice to be back. Hello, Amanda and Lena and Nadine, everybody. It's good to see you all. Deshelle. Whew. All right. Hi. All right. It is good to be back, guys. For those of you that don't know, I went on a trip to Florida to surprise my parents, and my van broke down. And I was in Florida for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, for 5 more days with my parents than I had planned to be. So that got me thinking about vacations and homeschooling, because what ended up happening is that we really haven't been home to do school for about 2 weeks, because we had this little 3-day trip, and then the very next day my sister flew in town, and then we drove to Florida, and then I was trapped there for a little extra time. Hi, Karen. So it's been 2 weeks of no school, no traditional school. I'm using a lot of air quotes today, but hopefully you guys know what I mean. And of course, the big question, that's the best kind, getting something done and listening. I was doing that today. I was listening to Julie from yesterday. I still have to finish it, in fact. But that's what I was doing when I was cooking dinner. It's actually, I think it's after 8 o'clock here, so dinner is done. Okay, so a big question when homeschoolers, when we just take a family vacation or a trip and it's during the school year, I find a lot of people ask, well, what do you do about school? Do you take your schoolwork, or how do you count those days, and how does that work? And so I just was thinking about it, because I was actually asked before our vacation if I was stressed about school. And I thought, no, I'm really not. I'm at the point that when we go on vacation, whenever it is and however often it is, we take a break. That's it. We are learning to unplug from our routine and to relax and to be in the moment together. And that's the goal. I feel like there's so many adults who don't know how to do that, that it's a great lesson for the kids, that we are away, we are enjoying a new place, we are with different people or ourselves, and we are just together. And yes, I'm going to get to that. Of course, there's learning going on all the time, and I think that's the big thing that people don't understand. Is that, hold on, I'm going to go to my next little note here. Yeah, that being said, for those of us that want to acknowledge that school is still going on, I was thinking about the stuff, yeah, that's right, Lena. I was thinking about the stuff that goes on even when there's no planned school. So the first thing on my list was conversation. When the plans and the books and the routines and the chores and the distractions of the house are removed, I find it is an excellent time for conversation. And it is one huge advantage of homeschooling that the public school doesn't get, is those big, juicy conversations. Conversation about life, conversations about, whatever you're visiting, conversations about dealing with one another and family relations. I mean, whatever it is such a great time to be able to focus on the kids and have those great conversations. And that goes on vacation. So if you need to know in your head what learning is going on, jot down conversations. The second thing, and I think most homeschool families are this way, is reading is always going on. I am always reading a book out loud to the kids. On this particular vacation, I was reading Harry Potter book 1, finishing up with the boys at night. Just so happened that I had packed, here it is, my daughter, I wanted her to get her book club book done for the Boomerang, So this book happened to be in our suitcase. Again, there weren't any assignments. It was just when she went to read at night, I said, hey, read a chapter of that book before you read your fun books that you brought. And I also got it done on vacation, which was great because I lead the book club. And the other one I happened to pack at the last minute was our new Arrow book, and that was Understood Betsy. And I planned on just kind of starting to look through the guide and the book, but when we got stuck there for an extra few days, I went ahead and pulled out the book and decided we would go ahead and do that. So I feel like reading is one of those things that for a lot of homeschool families is going on all the time, whether it's family reading, whether it's audiobooks in the car. That's another great one. I know a lot of you probably do that too, but that's going on. And then you get these great conversations about those. Then, of course, there's the visiting. Oh, what is it? You know what? I'll come back to the books in the end. So remember to ask me again. Then there's the visiting. I mean, you're going somewhere, right? So there's that place to learn about. So for us, we were in Florida. It is the land of the hot springs. So we decided to visit some of the springs and swim and talk about the springs in the ground. And most of those places have little visitor centers where you can learn a little. We went to the Ponce de Leon Lighthouse, which is the tallest in Florida. We went to our favorite little science center there, the Marine Science Center, which is a sea turtle rescue area. And they also rescue a lot of different birds. Bald eagles are there and owls, and we got to touch stingrays. That all counts. Wherever you're visiting, I'm sure there are things going on that can count as school if you really need to check that box in your head. And the last thing was games I thought of. We play a lot of games when we're on vacation. So games always count as school. So the funny thing was, I was feeling really good about this. I was like, it's cool. I'm totally fine. I'm laid back, relaxed. I'm not stressing about school. We're just taking it as it comes. And then I got home and I was talking to a friend on the phone. And I know they meant well when they said this and that they were totally kidding. But they said to me something about, I said, oh, yeah, I got to start school back on Monday. It's going to be interesting getting back to routine. And they laughed and said, yeah, you got to school your kids at some point, huh? And bam, like the guilt I suddenly felt from that comment, which wasn't about her. I know she was kidding, but it was all about me. That just below that layer of being relaxed and chill about the whole thing, it was so quick to go straight to the guilt. Oh my gosh, we are so behind in math. My daughter, her pre-algebra textbook, she is like 40 lessons behind the neighbors, and then we took all this time off, and we're behind on our Arrow. We haven't done any of the copy work. Suddenly, all the things that we had not done, all the book work, just tipped the balance the wrong way. And I totally forgot about all the things I had said, which is why I started thinking about this and writing it down for myself. In fact, some of you have started bullet journaling. And I know a lot of people, instead of planning their day, have started going into their bullet journal and just writing what they did accomplish. And I felt like that might be a really good thing to start for like these times, that if I had written down at the end of each day of vacation, just a little journal, like great conversation about stingrays, or read another chapter in Harry Potter and talked about the, character Snape. Something like that I could go back and be like, yeah, we were schooling. Guilt be gone. Guilt, get out of here. Yes. Okay. You are the person who maybe I read that from, Nadine, or maybe you mentioned it, though I think a lot of people are doing it. I know I've either seen it on Scopes or blogs that I've read, and I think that's really brilliant. I need to come up with a routine to do that, like to sit at the end of the day and write that down, because I feel like it would be helpful. And I know in some areas, too, people ask a lot about keeping attendance. In North Carolina, we are technically supposed to keep attendance and have 180 days. There might be other places that are requiring that. And that's when I think of Christina, who is in Ireland right now, and her saying, it all counts. It all counts. I am happy to check off an attendance day, even while I'm on vacation, because it all counts. And I think you guys know that. So yeah, I do want to, Nadine, I don't know if you have that on your blog yet, like maybe a post and some pictures of how you do that in your journal, but I definitely need to do some more journaling. And what was interesting to me, and this is what I've loved about Periscope, is when I started feeling guilty. Oh, good. Please do a scope on it. Yay. Oh, good. When I started feeling guilty, I went immediately to my Brave Scope friends and shared what had happened, because I knew those were the people who would remind me that it all counts. And Lena, I think you said in there, like, family relationships count. Yeah, they do. You know, and you guys are the people to remind me of that. You know, I was thinking about that, how I need to remember that I value those relationships even higher than I value the education. So it was great to have you all to remind me. And yeah, listen to all this bullet journaling. You know, I started mine. Where is it? It's in my purse. I'll grab it. Didn't. And I'd love to think of a way to record the end of each day, because I was kind of trying to do planning. And what I did, oh, good. I'll look up Rebecca's. I had done like a month. I tried to cut back my planning a little, and I had done a month. This was January. And I just kind of written some basic ideas for grammar, science, logic, history. And that had actually worked really well, but I'm just not consistent enough. And so it just kind of kept me on target with what we were doing without being too detailed. Because a lot of the lessons, like, we know to just go to the next page in math, and we know to go to the next copy work passage and that kind of stuff. But I wonder if I could set up a very similar looking page and just write what we did. Do you guys keep like a separate bullet journal for school? Or do you have it all in one bullet journal? That's what always confuses me. Like, should I put all of that here? I have all the scopers in here too somewhere. That was one of my goals one day. I put in my bullet journal all of you guys. Yeah, here they all are. So that I could have everyone's names. That's in my bullet journal. There's another page. Yeah, Alex, I think, is who I saw one time. I think I saw Alex's one time. So that's really all I kind of got on here to say, was just that I agree with all of you that vacation counts. Like a new collection of things that will take up space. I guess it depends on if you're replacing something else. Hi, Melissa. I stopped using my other planner and started just doing everything in the bullet journal, and I stopped using as many Post-it notes all over the house because I have sections that say brain dump. You can see my table of contents here. So anytime I have a book I want to read aloud ideas, theology books, my January school, my full year plan, I planned our entire vacation. Yeah, I guess you could save them because it would kind of have everything that you did. This one has to go on vacation with me because it has my vacation hotels and everything in here. So, oh, you have one too. I need to really look into some better ways to make use of it. I kind of tried, but I'm not feeling like I've really got it, you know, and everyone does it so differently. But in there, I wanted to write to myself to also remember the things I really value, so that when I'm on vacation, I can see those valuable things going on, the conversations, the relationships, and the being present in the moment, which I value above the next math worksheet. So that was all. I had a good vacation. I'm glad to be back, guilt-free. Oh, someone asked about Understood Betsy. It's taken a little longer to get in this book than other ones. I'm liking it. I enjoy it. Oh, you're welcome, guys. I'm a few chapters. We're now about 50 pages in, and I feel like it's picking up, like we're getting more attached to the character. I think it might have been hard because we were on vacation, and it was a little more sporadic reading, and I think that's always hard. But this is the Arrow book that we're doing this month. In fact, this morning with the Arrow book, the girl's name is Elizabeth Ann. It's not historical fiction. It's like a coming of age Yes, Bethany just summarized it. She's being raised by some aunts that really shelter her, and then for a variety of reasons, she has to go live with other family, and they just don't. They expect a 9-year-old to be able to get herself dressed, and her other aunts always dressed her and told her when to get out of bed. And so it's kind of this growing up story of her gaining independence. But Julie had. Today we did these bug names. We talked about how your names are special, and then you can see this one says Mary, and then it's, you know, David and Patricia, and then it was mirror imaged on the other side, and we just talked about all the nicknames for Elizabeth. Part of the story is about how Elizabeth Ann becomes Betsy in the title Understood Betsy, because Betsy's a more casual name. So she goes from this very formal person to more relaxed, independent, that kind of thing. So I've never read it. I'm enjoying it. I will give a little shout out to, oh, I'm sorry, my tripod went nuts while I was away. This is the Boomerang book. This was really good. Understood Betsy, I don't know. It's for the Arrow Book Club, 3rd through 6th grader, but my 5th grader and my 3rd grader would not read this on their own. But they're not my big readers. I think my oldest daughter could read it on her own and be fine. So I'm reading it out loud to them. Yeah, I'm reading out loud to them. This one is for my 7th grader, and it's a fairly easy read for 7th, 8th graders, maybe even 9th. The only warning I will give in here, just depending on your religious views, is in the context of Mexico when she visits her grandparents there. This is a girl who is a child of an illegal immigrant who marries an American woman, and she goes to visit her grandparents in Mexico for the first time. And there's a lot of the kind of ancient religion there about the grandmother being a healer and her soul being able to leave her body and travel into the evening, and they have a spirit animal. So there's a little bit of the out-of-body spirit kind of thing going on. But it's in the context of being in Mexico, and I think, you know, for the older kids in this house, that has not been confusing or difficult, even if we don't believe that ourselves. It's been a nice way to discuss other religions. So since we were talking about books, that was another good one we had on vacation. So I guess that was really all I had to say. I'm glad you guys hopped on, and I'm just really thankful for this whole group. Yeah, cultural context. Really thankful for everybody in here and the nice reminders of the people that I have that I can go to who can say, vacation counts, Mary. You know, where the neighbor's going, what did you do about school? Are you behind now? Do the kids have to make up all that work? No, they don't. We just keep pressing on, and that's that. So life is learning, learning is life. So that was it. I hope you guys have some fun vacation plans. It's my favorite thing to do is plan trips. Sometimes we take them, sometimes we don't, but I do love to plan them. Oh, DC, that's awesome. Enjoy dinner, Karen. Yeah, that is great. You know, and again, like, we feel like it needs to count as school, and DC so easily does. But, you know, it doesn't have to. Go into the beach with family, that counts too. But DC, that's awesome. So enjoy. All right, guys, and I will see you later this week. I hope to be able to pop into more scopes during the week. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys later. All right. Oh, I don't like to end it on this. There we go. Come on.